And we continue, Dirshu Mishnah Brura, Hilchais Betzias Hapas. We're in the middle of Siman Kuf Samach Zayin Sif Aleph. We read through Sif Aleph, but we stopped in the Mishnah Bruras before the part that deals with Hilchais Shabbos. And we're in the middle of discussing that we have, on one hand, when we cut the bread, we want to make sure that the moment we finish the bracha, we're ready to eat the bread. But on the other hand, we want to make the bracha on the shalim, so we don't want to cut through entirely. That was one detail that we learned in the first half of the Sif. The second detail that we learned in the first half of the Sif is that you never want to hold in your hand more than a beya's worth, because you don't want to look like a Rav Vasan. So let's begin with the Ramah. Let's reread the Ramah. Again, Kuf Samach Zayin Sif Aleph. Says the Ramah, Ubishabbos lo yachtel b'kikar ad achar bracha. On Shabbos, do not cut until after the bracha. Why? So that the kikar remains shalim. Now, it is a little bit interesting because a moment ago we also said at some level we want it to be shalim. When we call makav, continues the Ramah, if you forgot him, it's not a problem. Vinir. I know Davka says Mishtabura when you shouldn't cut a kabeya is during the week that you're eating by yourself. But on Shabbos, if you're eating with a bunch of people and you want to give everyone from the piece that you cut for yourself, then you go cut a large piece and cut them from that piece. So says the Mishtabura over here, Siv Katan Yod, U be Shabbos. Vua didn't similarly be Yantav and Nishatzach Levarich Lecha Mishnah. On Yantav you also need Lecha Mishnah. Chayshina Shema Tishavar Kula Koidem HaBracha. That if you start cutting it beforehand, you're worried, we are worried, that you might come to break it off before the bracha. Or you might cut so deep that when you hold the piece, the other part of it's going to fall off. And we said in the previous year, that's the litmus test of something is called a shalim. Have kiparis ligamri v'anan lechem mishnah beina. We need lechem mishnah v'alkein, and therefore, you should not cut it at all. Even though if you do that, then after you make the bracha, it's going to take you a little bit longer to cut through the bread. It's not called a hefsek. Why? Because it's all a necessity for the eating. During the week, since we're able to be machmir, therefore we want you to cut it before you start the bracha. Einay mazik sivkatin yadal for atzalaimer. Shalahav said I did lecha mishnah. You're not losing the maila of lecha mishnah. Why? Shekol she'oiches v'prusa sharikika oila yimay havi kishalem. As long as it all is drawn after, it has the din of the shalim. Aval b'Shabbos sivkatin yidbreis. This is talking about how big of a piece you cut. Pierce b'Shabbos lo mechzik ravanasa. You don't look like a glayan on Shabbos. Why? Because why are you cutting a big piece? Not because you want and you're hungry, but rather mishum chiv of Suda Shabbos. You're supposed to eat more on Shabbos. So you're cutting a big piece so you could eat more in your Shabbos Suda. During the week. Mina brusa from that brusa. Pierce, what does this mean? When you're being yotzi someone else, says to give everyone from the piece that you cut to each and every person. Not to cut off a piece for yourself and give everyone from the rest of the loaf. No, cut off one big piece and from that piece give everyone else. If you're being everyone else, cut off a big piece. And you want to give everyone a kezayis, if cut it as vav, you don't want to look stingy. Canal b'seif asif. Gedar kemoish isik zayis v'bachs me'at. V'yishem re'od devlavachi taima gam kein toivu lechatchila sheyochel adam kezayis v'is berachs ha'maitzi. It's also good to hold a kezayis at the time of the bracha. So let's see a little bit of the Dirshu over here, in which he comments on this din of Shabbos lo yachtov kal. Says Dirshu number 4, the question that everyone was wondering, what do you mean? We all know you make a slice in the bread Friday night and Shabbos day and whenever you're having lecha mishnah. Says the Dirshu, quoting Hilchas Shabbos Rishayin Dalin, Midartikin, make a rishima with the sakin. So now we understand the difference between during the week and on Shabbos. During the week, we actually cut through, just not fully. On Shabbos, we don't quote unquote cut it all. What do? We just make a little bit of a line so that we can find their place afterwards. And then it's not called a hefsek, number 5 in Dirshu. Similarly, that which you wait for everyone else till everyone gets a piece from the one that makes the bracha, says Rishon, that's not called b'diavad, because that's all it's tzarech of the achila. You're waiting for your piece of bread. And now what's called a shalom, if you hold it, the rest of it goes with it. If you don't have lechem shalom, you only have 2 halves. The Shulchan Aruch Kufsa Machaz is going to teach us you could put it together with a stick, and any way that it looks like it's one and has a din of a shalom. On Shabbos, you don't look like a glutton. If you take a big piece, we're going to see in Reish and Dalid, you don't look like a glutton. You don't do this to eat a lot. You're doing it just because of the chibah of the mitzvah of Lechem Mishnah of Kavod Shabbos. We want to make sure to give everyone a kzayis. You don't look stingy. Number 8. But on the Leil Seder, we want to give everyone a kzayis matzah, the 2 matzahs. We'll see over there in Tuf Ayin Hey Amir Hashem. And the Darkei Moshe said, "Kzayis or pachs mi'ad lechatzchila," says Moshe Faitzin, you should give everyone from the Yisuf and the pachais at least a kzayis like the Ramah. And again, this is common if you have a lot of kids or a lot of people around your table and you have a little challah, it doesn't work. You have either bigger challah or multiple chals, and you want to give every person a kzayis of the bread. And that is Sif Aleph. Let's quickly learn Sif Beis. A short Sif says the Mechaber in Sif Beis. Yevarich ha'moiti lechem min haaretz v'imram esum yicham l'libam l'shma bracha v'yanu amin. They should have kavanah to listen and answer amin. V'hamavarich, the one making the bracha yichavein. I mean, your kavanah for the mean that they're going to say yitin recha bein lechem ubein min ha'moiti lechem min. Anytime you have 2 words with the same letter back to back, you have this all over Kriya Shema, you want to have a slight pause, because if not, it sounds like lechem min. It sounds like one word. It's not lechem min, it's lechem min. And Sif Gimel is in levarich koidem sheyitzvus lechem. You don't make the bracha before you're holding on to the bread. Says Mishabur Sekota Tezayin hamoitzi beheya koidem hamoitzi koidem amem. Beirich moitzi, if you said moitzi lechem yiryatza bravadu, we should say the bracha properly. If there's a lot of people there from Ram Misubim Sekota Nitzayin Rotza Laimar. Ema Misubim Rotza Lasis Birachasa, they want to be yoitzu with your bracha, then you chavan liba mishav the kim the right to Lasis Birachasa. If you want to be yoitzu with your friends, brachas are chlitin dait l'shmei. You have to listen. V'ozav kol teva sheshamem mibi avar ki'ilu amar ba'atzvim. The Shmura teaches us here how shekmeya ka'oina works. How does it work when I hear your bracha? When I listen to every word, it says if I am saying it myself. The way that we always explain it is sheimeya ka'oina, the sheimeya, the listening, your ears, or as if they're actually saying the bracha. And then Yanu Ami continue. Taz idea niyo shema'acher adavar oz nechshav kilu mvarich la'atzod amin, as if you said it. Kol makom b'diavad in ma'akev. If you do not say amin, it's not ma'akev, as we'll see in Rishon Gimel Ayin Sham. And the mavarich is yechavin to hear the amin. Sivkot and chaf. Then he is amin gankev v'chal bracha. It's part of the bracha. Vav gavdu beirich kvar ba'atz. You read your own bracha. Kol makom adesha anu amin aleha bracha chashuva yoiser. We learn over here the power of amin, not just for the one answering amin, but for the bracha, it elevates the bracha itself. Ulekach, says the Mishnah Berurah, practice that many have, and it's a beautiful practice. You should have in mind for their amin as well. Many tzaddikim would only make a bracha when there is someone else to answer amin, and now we understand it. It's not just to help that person, giving him this chus of an amin, which is incredible, but it elevates my bracha. Yitin revach between the lechem and min chav aleph, says Mishnah Berurah, neshafsik ma'akadesh liyibalat achas l'shana achas me'amin v'chein b'shar pein b'shar oisi sheshur v'ois b'brachas. Anytime you have 2 letters back to back. And then, Dirshu, Mishnah Berurah Chav Beis on Sif Gimel, should not make the bracha before you're holding the bread. Says the Mishnah Berurah, She'ein mevarchim Sif Kod Chav Beis, ala mitzvahs elasamoch lasiyason, right before you do them. Shemitzvah biyad lasaysay, when you're holding the mitzvah lo kaidim l'chein. Similarly, if you're holding a cup of water, you make the bracha. Right? When you're holding it, you don't put it down, make the bracha, and then pick it up. The bracha is always made right before. And you hold the lulav and the esrog, make the bracha, then you shake it. But the Evan, esrog upside down, etc. But with the Evan, if you made a bracha, and then you took it beyond al genkin tzarich lachsul avarich, says Mishmur to make a new bracha, as we're going to see in Zrei Shvav Seftala Ein Sham Mishnah Berurah. And we continue with Dirshu, note number 11 over here. Says the Dirshu that when he says amin, it's if he made the bracha himself. as we'll see in Rishon Gimel, that when someone listens, he has to have intent, says Dirshu number 11, to be Yotzei the bracha, and even if he doesn't answer, it's as if he said the bracha Shemea Ka'in, as if he made the bracha itself. When he comes to bracha like Goimel, if your friend says bracha to Hashem kol toiv, you're not Yotzei unless you answer actually Amen. And the reason we'll see the Beralacha and Reishi Test, it's going to say Rav Kiva Eger, because you can't say Asher Gamal Alcha, you can't say the bracha for someone else. A big shayla whether you can be someone else in the bracha of Ha Goimel. And now finally, Dirshu number 12, all brachas you want to make samuch to doing them. When the item is not in your hand, it's not called Oiver Lasiyasan, because it's called Oiver to Oiver. It's one step too early, and therefore it's not considered that you made the bracha right beforehand. Anything else, Dirshu number 13 teaches us that you have to hold it in your right hand when you make the bracha, because you have the intent to be Yotzei. But the Evan and Birich La'achin Ala B'Yadai Kamkin Ein Sarach Lach. You do not have to make a new bracha. I don't know if I read that properly. As long as it's in front of you, that means it's in your mind. That means you had das, and then you will be Yotzei B'Diavad, and we'll pick it up from Sif Daled in the next year. B'Siyata Dishmaya.